Hello, Kansas and Western fans. It's time for update number 61 of the construction of the Kansas and Western HO scale model railroad. And today I normally would have done a full layout tour, but at the end you're going to find out there's not going to be a poll this weekend, which really has nothing to do with the tour. But we're going to be talking about something other than the actual full-size layout. We're going to be talking about my diorama, and there's a reason for that, and we're going to get into all that. But first of all, for the last couple of weeks, I was tasked with working on the Portland cement plant again, this scene actually. And if you saw my post from a couple of days ago, you saw that I got the main base layer, I guess, whatever you want to call it, first round of concrete work done amidst all the tracks here in the plant. So, and you can see how it fits right up against the buildings. So all that form work worked out really well. I will end up blending that seam in, probably with a little extra mud or something. I'm not sure yet. I'm not really worried about that yet. I think I'm actually going to cover all this base layer of concrete with gravel and then carry the gravel on all the way to the backdrop here and between the buildings here and at the end here as well. And then where you see the end of the concrete, all that's going to be covered in gravel, probably some weeds too, but this is basically just kind of like a construction equipment yard, just kind of equipment that the plant needs. In reality, this plant neighbors its own quarry where it gets the raw materials to make cement. So it's understandable if there'd be some construction type equipment parked around here that's used elsewhere around the plant. So that's just kind of what this foreground area is going to be. And then you can see how I've gone ahead and concreted all this, and you can see some people express reservation about working with drywall mud for this reason. You can see all the cracking. Not a big deal. I expected that. It's pretty thick in this area. It's probably 3/16 of an inch thick, maybe almost, I don't think it's quite a quarter inch, but anyway, I expected this because when you lay this stuff on thick, it does shrink and it does crack. But as I mentioned in my post a couple days ago, I am going to come back over with a skim coat the next time that the Portland cement plant scene wins, and you won't see that anymore. But if there are still some cracks, well, concrete does crack. Maybe not this bad, but like I said, we're going to do a skim coat. We're going to get rid of most of those cracks, so not worried about that. Anyway, so I primarily worked on that because I wanted to get this whole first layer done, because it meant that the next time this scene wins the poll, I could definitely finish that concrete, get that finished coat done, get rid of all the forms, which I left many of them up because I still have to do another layer. And I took the forms up on this side because I want to make sure all the buildings would fit before I did any other work. But I also want to get it all painted and textured like this finished area is here, so it'll look really sharp, and I can get some end of track devices added and things of that nature. Anyway, didn't really do much on the lighting other than getting this single street light added here. I plan to add several more up and down the yard, several more to the buildings. I'm going to put some on the top of this storage silo here, because with all this equipment up here, it's conceivable that someone might need to get up there to work on that equipment, and possibly at night even. So lots more to do in this scene, but I'm making good progress. I also worked on some track weathering. I've got this main line track weathered all the way to that turnout at the end almost. It's ready for ballast. I was going to go ahead and start working on that yesterday, but I just ran out of time. So otherwise, making progress, maybe not as fast as you might think, but I'm happy with it so far. Anyway, as I mentioned, there's not going to be a poll this time because coming up in 2 weeks is the Mid-Continent Prototype Modelers Meet, and I have committed to building a diorama, which I've seen many other people do along with their layout, something they can take on displays. So let's go over and talk about my diorama that I'm working on. All right, there's actually a different series that I've started about this diorama, and I'm calling it the train wreck diorama. And as you can see, I've got a mess of cars here. And basically what the idea is we've got a small local line, main line here that goes along the back here. And there's going to be a trestle bridge, and that's the point of this kit here, to show what I plan to use over this river. And then we have a spur line that goes off to another town in this area. And the general idea, or the story as you will, for the diorama is, and I've got a piece of maintenance away equipment sitting on the track here, is a crew is actually working on the bridge, just doing some maintenance. And so they've closed this track down for safety reasons. And they've actually thrown this turnout switch as a precaution. Well, the idea is the train that was going to come through that day apparently didn't pay attention to the orders and didn't realize there was going to be a crew. And what you can't see off screen is, or off the diorama, is this track is straightening out after a curve. So when the train comes around the curve, they see that the track is blocked, and we're going to have blue flags and whatever else necessary. I still have to learn about that, blocking the main line. And so they can't quite slow down enough for what the speed limit is for this curve. And it's a pretty tight curve because it's up on an embankment, which I'll explain how I'm going to do that yet. I haven't built the embankment yet. But it's along a river, and it's kind of a deep river. And with a tight curve in front of the river there, obviously they don't want to spill any contents because, as you can see, we do have a hazardous material car here. But anyway, they didn't get slowed down in time. Thankfully for the work crew, at least, the switch has been thrown. But unfortunately, that means the train is going at a high rate of speed, or at least high rate of speed, through the turnout. And this is old track that's not very well maintained. And what we have in this area here that will be represented is a broken rail bar. And with the high rate of speed and a heavy train, that rail bar breaks on the far rail, and we get what you have here. So that's the general idea for this thing. What I plan to do in the next 2 weeks before the show in Benton is to at least get the track laid, get that embankment built, and maybe get the bridge built, get some paint on this thing so there's no pink foam showing. I want to get a backdrop put in, which is just going to be a simple masonite backdrop, maybe 12 inches tall, painted blue, just for a sky backdrop, and then get some fascia all around to protect the edges. But otherwise, I won't have time probably to get any scenery done or water poured. But I do plan to put water in this thing. And since I had good success with the river on my layout, and with the mess of rail cars in here, I do plan to put some pieces of debris in the water, maybe a truck and wheel set. We're probably going to do a leaking tank from the tank car, some type of material leaking into the water. I've got culverts here from this gondola that's spilled. I've got this center beam flat car that's supposed to have a lumber load. That's going to be spilled, and with pieces of lumber floating down the river. And we've got a grain car that I want to either have the lid open or get punctured in some way, so we've got grain spilling. So it's quite an ambitious project. I've never done most of what I just described, so it's going to be a learning experience, but that's part of the reason why I'm doing it, is I'm going to learn a lot of valuable skills on this small diorama that I can apply to my layout. And so anyway, that's the purpose for doing a diorama. That's the purpose for trying all these things out, ultimately for skill set improvement for the layout. And I enjoy sharing that with the public at the meet. Part of the reason, though, I want to exhibit this at the meet, even though it won't be finished, is I want ideas. I know there's going to be guys that are much more experienced than I that have built things like this or have some awesome knowledge to share. There's going to be some prototype guys that work on the local railroads that will probably be able to share some good information about, what happens to a rail car when it leaves the tracks, what it does to the ground, what it does to the cars, what kind of damage I could expect. So I'm definitely looking forward to that event and learning a lot that I can apply to what I'm trying to do here. But anyway, that's why there's no poll. I want to try to get some work done on this for the next couple of weeks before that show. After that, we'll get back to the polls and get back to the main layout and the drawing. But otherwise, that's about it for now. If you have any questions or comments or any ideas you might share for this layout, and I can tell you right now, the idea of the crew working on the bridge is not my own. I just wish I could remember which one of you left it. And so if you remember giving me that idea, please feel free to leave that in the comments so I can give you proper credit. Anyway, that's about it for now. I'll do some checking in on this. Like I said, I'm doing a different video series just on building this, so I will share that process over the next couple of weeks, and I guess that's about it for now. So everybody, thanks for watching. Hope you all have a great weekend, and we will check in with you later.